Hi there, it's Mrs. Ferris from Wood Library, and I guess it's time for some bedtime stories with me. So let's see what Bernard has picked out for us today. I think we've got 3 books, some finger plays, something on the flannel board, and our final book that we always have. So let's start off with a book called Sophie's Squash. This is by Pat Zietlow Miller and Ann Wilsdorf, and it's published by Schwartz and Wade Books. And I picked it out because what season does it look like there? Does it look like fall? Looks like what we have outside here. And that's her squash. A squash is a relative of, well, a pumpkin is a squash. That one looks like it's a butternut squash. One bright fall morning, Sophie chose a squash at the farmer's market. Her parents planned to serve it for supper, but Sophie had other ideas. It was just the right size to hold in her arms, just the right size to bounce on her knee, and just the right size to love. "I'm glad we met," Sophie whispered. "Good friends are hard to find." At home, Sophie used markers to give her squash a face, and then she wrapped it in a blanket and rocked it to sleep. When it was time to make supper, Sophie's mother looked at the squash, and she looked at Sophie. "I call her Bernice," Sophie said. "I'll call for pizza," said her mother. Now after that, Bernice went everywhere with Sophie, to story time at the library, to visit the other squash at the market, and to practice somersaults by the garden. Every night, Sophie gave Bernice a bottle, a hug, and a kiss. "Well, we did hope she'd love vegetables," Sophie's mother told her father. "Shh," said Sophie. "Bernice is sleeping." She's right there. "Sweet pea," Sophie's mother said one morning as they made blueberry waffles. "Bernice is a squash, not a friend. If we don't eat her soon, she'll get mushy and gross. Let's bake her with marshmallows. Won't that be tasty?" "Don't listen, Bernice," said Sophie cried. Well, that afternoon, Sophie's father took her shopping. "Sugar beet," he said. "Bernice is a squash. Why don't you pick a nice toy to play with instead?" But trucks were too hard, and the dolls were too soft. Sophie clutched Bernice tightly. "No, thanks," she said. "I have everything I need." After supper, Sophie's parents called a family meeting. Bernice napped in Sophie's lap. "Why don't we donate Bernice to the food pantry before she rots?" her father suggested. "Bernice seems a little blotchy," said Sophie's dad on the way to the library one day. "She looks perfect to me," Sophie replied. At story time, some kids pointed and stared. "What's that spotty thing?" a boy asked. "Her name is Bernice, and she's a squash," Sophie said, "with freckles." "Maybe Bernice should stay home next time," Sophie's mother suggested. "Why?" Sophie asked. She wasn't the one being rude. Still, as winter neared, Sophie noticed changes. Bernice seemed softer, and her somersaults lacked their usual style. At the farmer's market, squash were everywhere. Firm, shiny squash. "What keeps a squash healthy?" Sophie asked a farmer. "Oh, it's simple, really," he said. "Fresh air, good clean dirt, a little love." Well, Sophie thought, I have all of that. At home, Sophie cleared leaves from Bernice's favorite spot. She made a bed of soft soil, tucked Bernice in, and kissed her goodnight. "Get better soon," she whispered. Well, that night, while Sophie slept, the wind whistled and tiny snowflakes fell. And when she awoke, why, the world was covered in white. "Do you think Bernice is cold out there?" Sophie asked her mother. "Oh, I'm sure she's warm and cozy under her snow blanket," her mother replied. Sophie gazed out the window all morning. She was still there in the afternoon when her father came home with a surprise. "You need a new friend," he said. "Meet Ace." Well, Ace was nice, but boring. He just swam around and around in his bowl. But during the long winter, Sophie discovered that Ace was a superb silent reader who did fabulous flip turns, and he always listened politely when she talked about Bernice. She's saying here, Bernice was great at keeping secrets. Now, when the snow finally melted, Sophie rushed to the garden. The only thing there was a small green sprout. It looked strangely familiar. "Bernice," Sophie said, "how was your winter?" And after that, Sophie, Ace, and Bernice ate lunch together every day. And one bright summer morning, Sophie somersaulted across the yard and landed by the garden and stared in disbelief. "Wow," Sophie said. She noticed that Bernice had grown 2 tiny squash. "You look just like your mom," she said. And soon, Bonnie and Baxter were just the right side for Sophie to hold in her arms and bounce on her knee. Just the right size to love. Now, I don't know if I recommend having a squash or a pumpkin be your best friend, but it's a nice story, isn't it? Yes. Well, shall we do a finger play? By the way, hi everybody who's tuned in. I see Ben's mom is here, probably with grandsons. And I saw quite a few people. Go ahead and put your names down. I'm just always happy to see you. And shall we get ready to do our monkeys jumping on the bed? Can you put your 5 fingers up? Pretend they're monkeys. I've got 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. When one fell off, he bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So fold one down. So 4 little monkeys are jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So 3 little monkeys are jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So that means 2 little monkeys are jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So that leaves how many? 1 little monkey jumping on the bed. When she fell off, she bumped her head. So her mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." So I don't have any more monkeys to jump on the bed. So let's go for a walk. Hi, everybody. This is called One Day in the Eucalyptus Tree. This is a story by Daniel Bernstrom, and pictures are by Brendan Wenzel, and it's published by Katherine Tegen Books, which is a division of HarperCollins. Now, what do you think that is? One day in the leaves of the eucalyptus tree hung a scare in the air where no eye could see. Can you see it? Oh my. When along skipped a boy with a whirly-twirly toy to the shade of the eucalyptus tree. Down, down slid the snake from the leaves of the tree and gobbled up the boy with his whirly-twirly toy. One day in the eucalyptus tree. Oh no. I'll bet, said the boy in the belly dark and deep, that you're still very hungry and there's more that you can eat. Do you think, said the snake to the boy with the toy, that there's room for something yummy with you inside my tummy? Cheep, cheep came a chirp from the leaves of the tree. A bird with a worm in a game of hide and seek. Sneaky slidey zipped the snake from his place in the leaves, and he gobbled up the bird and her ooey gooey worm in one day in the eucalyptus tree. I'll bet, said the boy in the belly dark and deep, that you're still very hungry and there's more that you can eat. Purr, purr came a stir from the leaves of the tree. Oh, a cat in a nap on his furry back. Under over slid the snake from his place in the leaves and gobbled up the cat in his dozy cozy nap. One day in the eucalyptus tree. Oh, surely, very surely, Mr. Snake, said the boy. Can you see him there? There is room, still more room, so much more to enjoy. Crinkle, wrinkle came a rustle from the leaves of the tree. Oh, a sloth cloaked in moss, sipping leafy tea. Wiggle, waggle stretched the snake from his place in the leaves and gobbled up the sloth clothed in fuzzy, wuzzy moss one day in the eucalyptus, can you say it with me? Eucalyptus tree. I'll bet, said the boy in the belly dark and deep, that you're still very hungry, that there's more that you can eat. Slurp, burp came a belch from the leaves of the tree. Oh, an ape eating grapes, lounging like a queen. Twist, twist bent the snake from his place in the leaves and gobbled up the ape and her munchy bunch of grapes one day in the eucalyptus tree. Oh, surely, very surely, Mr. Snake, said the boy, there is room, still more room, so much more to enjoy. Munch, munch came a crunch from the leaves of the tree. Oh, a rare kind of bear munching tasty, tasty greens. Up, up snaked the snake from his place in the leaves, and he gobbled up the bear with the qually-wally hair. One day in the eucalyptus tree. Do you think, said the snake to the boy with the toy, I should take one more bite while my tummy feels so tight? Oh, surely, very surely, Mr. Snake, said the boy. There is room, so much room. Go ahead, please enjoy. Do you think you should eat something else? He looks pretty full to me. Buzz, buzz hummed a noise from the leaves of the tree. Oh, a hive full of bees danced happily. Creaky, eeky, inched the snake from his place in the leaves, and he gobbled up the hive and the bumblebee bees inside one day in the eucalyptus tree. I'll bet, said the boy. Oh my goodness, look at that belly. I'll bet, said the boy in the belly dark and deep, that you're still very hungry, that there's more that you can eat. No, said the snake. Oh, surely, very surely, Mr. Snake, said the boy. There is room, still more room. No, said the snake. Something small, said the boy. Hissed the snake from his place in the leaves. Oh, a fruit, a small fruit, swaying in the breeze. And on that piece of fruit, that plummy, chummy fruit, was a teeny tiny fly. Gulp. Gurgle, gurgle came a blurble from that belly deep and full. Stretch, 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 burp, belch, bah! Out whizzed the fly, out rolled the fruit, out buzzed the hive, out ran the bear, out swung the ape, out slunk the sloth, out dashed the cat, out flew the bird, out slimed the worm, and out skipped the boy with his whirly-twirly toy, and... Oh, moaned the snake, I've a crummy tummy ache. One day in the eucalyptus tree. Isn't that a fun book? I came across that online. Daniel Bernstrom did a story walk online with this book, and he read it, and I just fell in love with it, so I thought it'd be great to share it. And I always think it's great fun to share one of our favorite finger plays. I saw somebody requesting it already, so I think we better reach into our pockets. It's time. And if you don't have a real pocket, just pretend you have a pocket, because what we're looking for is a pretend piece of bubble gum. So reach down. I don't have a pocket in my nightgown, but I'm going to pretend I do. And I'm going to pull out my pretend piece of bubble gum. I don't want to eat the wrapper, so I'm going to unwrap it, and the trash can's over there, so I'm going to throw my wrapper in the trash, pop the gum in my mouth, and chew it up until it's all soft and squishy. And then we'll do, remember? We'll do something disgusting with it. So get ready to chew. Is yours ready? Mine is. So put your hand out. I'm going to count to 3, and then we'll spit our gum right into our hands. Isn't that disgusting? 1, 2, 3. And clap your hand on top, and now your hands are all stuck together with sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your chin. Now, if you haven't come to pajama story time or bedtime story here at the library, you might not know what we have to say to get our hands so it's not stuck to our chins anymore. But I'm going to tell you, because it's not really a secret. We have to say, on stick. Can you do that with me? On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your arm. I have to be careful because I just got my flu shot and it hurts a little bit, but on stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your nose. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your back. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your cheek. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum. Are you ready, kids? You know what we've got to stick it on, right? Or who we have to stick it on this time? Stick it on Mom or Dad. I'll wait. Go stick it on them. Are you there yet? On stick. Come on back. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your foot. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum. Does yours look as bad as mine does? Ooh. Time to throw it in the trash. And let's get another story. This is called Creak, Said the Bed. It's by Phyllis. She writes a lot of really good stories. You should check her out. The pictures are by Reagan, Dunnick, and it's published by Candlewick Press. That's a pretty full bed, isn't it? My goodness. One dark night, in the middle of the night, Mama and Papa were snoozing in bed. Squeak went the door. And Evie said, I'm scared in my room. Can I come in with you? Papa said, snore. And Mama said, sure. There's plenty of room for Evie in the bed. So Evie bounced in. Creak, said the bed. That same night, that dark, cold night, Mama and Papa and Evie were snoozing in bed. Squeak went the door. And Ivy said, oh, I'm freezing in my bed. Can I come in with you? Papa said, snark. And Mama said, sure. There's plenty of room for Ivy in the bed. So Ivy plopped in. Creak, said the bed. That same night, that dark, cold, windy night, Mama and Papa and Evie and Ivy were snoozing in bed. Squeak went the door, and Mo said, oh, it's spooky in my room. Can I come in with you? Papa said, snarkle, and Mama said, sure. There's plenty of room for Mo in the bed. So Mo squeezed in. Creak, said the bed. I don't know if you can see what's happening to the bed. Uh-oh. That same night, that dark, cold, windy, rainy night, Mama and Papa and Evie and Ivy and Mo were all snoozing in bed when boom went the thunder. Oh, look who's outside. Clickety clackety click clack, squeak went the door. Woof, said Fred. Well, up Papa popped, and Papa cried, stop! There's no more room for Fred in the bed. But Fred leaped in. Crack went the bed. Snoof, said Fred. Mama and Evie and Ivy and Mo said, snore. Papa scratched his head and Papa said, guess there's plenty of room for all of us in the bed. One dark night, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the bed, in the middle of the floor, Papa said, good night. Creak, said the floor. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to wind up down in the basement? I don't know. That's a lot of people in the bed. Do you remember how many there were? There was Mama and Papa to start, and then Evie and Ivy and Mo. And was there anybody else? There was Fred the dog. So there were 6 in that bed. No wonder it broke. Well, can you wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes and wiggle your shoulders? And how about your nose? Can you wiggle your elbows and slap your knees and stretch your arms up? And then get ready, please, because it's time for us to have our story on the flannel board. And this story is called That Apple Is Mine. So we have to first have a tree. So let's get a tree up here. This tree has a lot of branches that are all, no leaves on them, but they're all wiggly. How's that look? Okay. Well, fall was almost over, and the tree was bare except for one red apple, the last apple. Well, hare ran by. Can you tell what kind of an animal a hare is? It's not this kind of hare. It's another word for a rabbit, right? So hare raced by and stopped. "Oh, that apple looks good," he said. "I want it." So hare jumped and jumped, but the apple was too high. Well, crow was up in that tree, and he just laughed and laughed. Hare said, "Crow, would you pick that apple for me, please?" And Crow thought, that apple looks good. I want it. So Crow picked the apple and started to fly away with it. But the apple was so heavy that she dropped it. And the apple landed right by a hedgehog. "Hey, wait," said Hare. "That's mine," said Crow. "What a nice surprise," said Hedgehog, and she stuck it on her prickers. "That apple is mine," Hare said. "No, that apple is mine," Crow said. "I picked it." "No, that apple is mine. I saw it first," said Hare. But Hedgehog said, "No, that apple is mine because it's stuck on me." Well, they were argued and argued and argued until pretty soon who should come along but Bear. Let's get Crow down a little bit further too. And he said, "What's going on? I'm trying to sleep." "Well, Crow stole my apple," said Hare. "No," said Crow, "that apple is mine. I picked it." "But no, that apple is mine," said Hedgehog. "It's on my back." "Well," said Bear, "who saw the apple first?" "I did," said Hare. "Who picked the apple?" "I did," said Crow. "And who caught the apple?" "I did," said Hedgehog. "Well, then each of you deserves some of that apple." "Really?" they said. "Really?" they said. "Really indeed." Now, what do you think Bear's going to do? Well, Bear lumbered off to see what he could do to find what he could have for that apple. And Bear, who was very clever, he just forgot to put the pieces over here where I could use them. He took that apple and he cut it into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces. He gave 1 piece to Hare and 1 piece to Crow. He gave 1 piece to Hedgehog, and there was 1 piece left. "Who's this piece for?" Bear said. "You should have it," said Hedgehog, "because you stopped us from fighting." "Thank you, Bear," the animal said, and they all ate up the apple. And everyone was happy, except for Worm. "That apple was mine," he said. "I guess I'll have to find another one." And that's just what he went to do. So the best way when you have something like an apple, and everybody wants some. Cut it into enough pieces so everybody can have a taste. All right, well, I think it's time for our last book. Remember, this is the one that we like to have every week because, well, it's Bernard's favorite book. He's in it. So it's the Going to Bed book by Sandra Boynton, and it's published by Little Simon. The sun has set not long ago. Now everybody goes below to take a bath in one big tub with soap all over, scrub-a-dub-dub. They hang their towels on the wall and find pajamas, big and small. And with some on top and some beneath, they brush and brush and brush their teeth. And when the moon is on the rise, they all go up to exercise. And then down once more, but not so fast. They're on their way to bed at last. The day is done. They say goodnight, and somebody turns off the light. The moon is high, the sea is deep, and they rock and rock and rock to sleep. So those are our bedtime stories. Is it time for you to go and brush your teeth and go to bed? We hope we'll see you next week for Bedtime Stories with Mrs. Ferris, Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock right here on Facebook. Thanks for watching.